Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Loris. I'm a collector of all sorts, but mostly of dollies. And in today's video, we're going to be looking at the Monster High dollies. So this idea actually came from Angelosa's video. I'll link it down in the description, but he did a video where he was shipping like certain Monster High dollies, like who looked good together as a couple, right? Rosie, a good couple pairing. So I remember when I was doing the doll tour, I was like, oh yeah, Draculaura is gay. So me and my fiance had this whole conversation of no biting, you be good girl. Sit, come here, sit, nice, thank you. So my fiance and I had this whole conversation over which dolls we thought were straight, which ones were pan, which ones were bi, gay, that kind of a thing. So we had this whole conversation that I thought I would share with you guys and get your opinion on whether you agree with him or you agree with me. I know you're tired. You're tired. Guys, you've been seeing so many videos from me lately because I have not been able to sleep. So when I can't sleep, I work. Right, Rosie? When I can't sleep, I work. So I even thought I'd like turn off the lampshade and the top light because I thought you guys maybe could see what the doll room looks like at nighttime. So, right, Luigi, what the doll room looks like at nighttime. So, in any case, let's get started on the video, shall we? Alrighty, my friends, we're gonna start with the one that me and my fiance kind of agreed with. I think the battery's dying on this. We need to get new batteries. In any case, Lagoona, we both agree that we think she's straight. Whatever. Um, except I added the twist that I think she's straight. Except like I also think she's the type to like if she wants attention, she's gonna make out with the girl. Let's see, you're being too much right now. Can you at least relax on the side? Okay, she wants to lick my face. Okay, that's enough. Just okay. There we go. That's it. That's all you're getting. No, you don't need to lick. Nope. Stop trying to lick my face. Stop. Stop. Guys, this is what she does. She just wants to like face-to-face contact. She's very needy, like her mother. Like, really? So yeah. First up, we have Miss Lagoona, and she is straight. She's straight in her eyes. Just an FYI, I'm not familiar with the Monster High lore at all, so this is coming from a perspective of me and my fiance of just vibes, just looking at their outfits, looking at their aesthetic, and I'll tell you for one thing, I don't know if I have the best gaydar. If I'm being quite honest, I'll share with a side story at the end of a girl who yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It was before I met my fiance, but I'll share a story at the very end that's kind of personal to me, kind of funny. But in any case, yeah, Lagoona, we think she gives straight preppy girl vibes. My fiance said she's like, yeah, she just gives like preppy straight girl vibes, and I would agree. She just gives to me like a rape girl that's gonna go make out with a girl just for attention, but in reality, she dates men and is only interested in men and sexually attracted to men. Okay, so next up we have Clawdeen Wolf. In my personal opinion, I think she's confused. She doesn't know which way she flows. She doesn't know if she's straight, pan, whatever. Okay, she doesn't know. And my fiance's opinion on things, his opinion on things is that he thinks she's butch. I don't quite remember if he specified like lesbian or bisexual or anything like that. I just remember him saying butch. So yeah. In my opinion, even though she's not sure of her sexual orientation, she's the type to get along with everybody and that kind of a thing. She's too busy to figure out what her sexual orientation is anyway. Next up, we have Cleo DeNile. So I'll share my fiance's opinion first. He thinks she's bisexual. But yeah, I remember him saying that she's bi, but agreed with me that because of like the Egyptians, like more women being like in power and that kind of a thing, that she has a lot of respect towards women, and that's why she flows that way. And for me, I just think she's a straight up lesbian. I think she hates men. I think she can't stand men. I think men love her. Oh, oops. I think love her, but I don't think she would even fuck one. Like she like straight up just loathes them. Well, I think my fiance was more on like the fence of like her dating like women, but you know, still like messing around with guys or like swinging both ways still, or like whatever, like just not really having a preference but being bi. And I just think she's a major lesbo. I don't know. And again, I have no idea what she's like in the show. It's just based off of attitude that she's giving me. Like she has no shit. She has no patience for men. Next up, we have Ravenclaw Wednesday. I'm trying to think, what did my fiance say? Okay, let me first share what I thought. What did I think I remember. Hold on. Let me share what I thought first, and then I'll pause and try to remember exactly what he said. So for me, I think she's pansexual. I think she is the type that just looks at people for who they are. It doesn't matter whether boy, girl, transgender. She's gonna look at you for who she is. And I don't know if I'm biased because she reminds me of an old friend of mine that was definitely a goth when I first met her. Shout out to you, Richie. So it like definitely, I think I'm a little biased, and considering my old friend is pansexual, I think that's why I kind of associate her with pansexuality. Um, as for my fiance, let me take a moment to think about what he said. You know what? I don't quite remember. I don't want to like put words in his mouth. What he said. I want to say he thought she was bisexual. He didn't specify pansexuality. I think when I mentioned pansexual, I remember him kind of like, oh, like like kind of clicked for him. Like, oh, I get it. I could see it. I could see it. And a lot of people aren't familiar with pansexuality. And honestly, I don't know enough about it to really explain it. I just know the way my old friend explained it to me is she made it seem like how I interpret it is how they just look at the person from within. But yeah, in any case, so yeah, that's Wednesday. Definitely think she screams pansexual in my vibe. Or my vibe, in my eyes. Comment down below whether you agree or disagree with my assessment. Okay, so I have quite a few Draculauras, but this is the one I pulled out that we're gonna assess. Because my fiance mentioned that when we looked at all of them, he said, depending on the outfit, I'm changing what I think her sexual orientation is. I'm sorry, like, this one over here. Actually, let me grab her really quick. Sorry. For the most part, we agree most Dracularas are bi, but this one he thought was straight. And I could kind of see it. I could see it. I don't know. For some reason, she gives me straight vibes. She's straight. Anyway, but for the most part, we agree that Draculaura is definitely bisexual. I want to say he thought the opposite of me. He said that she's bi, but she prefers to date men. That's what I think. God, I have a terrible memory. Here I am, like trying to do a video of what my husband's opinions were while he's sleeping, and I don't remember what they were because I had a whole conversation with him. I should have just waited to do this video, but I get impatient. I'm the type, if I'm in the mood to do something and I have the energy, I'm gonna get up and do it. So in any case, yeah, I would say she's bisexual. And aside from her being bisexual, I personally think she prefers dating women. But she does love certain men here and there. She has a soft spot for certain men, sweet men, not the bad boys. Um, and maybe I'm just like projecting here. I don't know. So yeah. Mm, I love it. I love it. Uh, she's gorgeous. I love her in particular. She's one of my favorites. So yeah, definitely bi vibes. Bi vibes. And what else was I gonna say? Okay, as promised, I'll share with you guys a couple of stories. First, I'll share the story that I thought of first when I mentioned her. Um, so it's kind of funny. So I came out to my family, not too long ago. I came out as bisexual not even 5 years ago. Like it's relatively like something I realized in the recent years. I think for a long time I cared too much of what other people thought about me, and I just never took the time to really discover myself and get to know myself. Um, so I just always thought I was straight. I don't know. I thought for the longest time that other women looked at women and were like, "Oh my god, they're beautiful," but like I don't know, like I never took the time to really I did for a while, did self-evaluate, but that's a story for another time. But where was I getting at with that? Okay, so before I knew I was bi a few years ago, um, I went to a wedding. I went to a wedding and my best friend who was supposed to be there, it didn't end up attending. So I kind of felt like, oh, like, yeah, of course I knew the bride, but I felt kind of awkward because, you're sitting at a table. But long story short, there was a girl I knew from high school that I hadn't seen for a long time. We ended up catching up. She like kind of was cordial, seeing that I was like kind of by myself. We danced together, whatnot. And later on, she brought it up to my best friend and said, like, "Hey, is Laura like gay?" And my friend at the time was like, "No, why?" She's like, "I don't know." She's like, "I have a pretty good gaydar." And like, she just gave me those eyes, And I'm like, and in my head, like, I kind of got defensive at the time because I didn't even know. I think I was in denial. I don't know. And in my head, like, I was kind of more enamored by her hair because I've always, like, no, she didn't have red. I don't know. It was the dancing. I don't know. Again, I kind of feel bad saying this. I guess I feel bad saying this because I'm obviously engaged now, to a man, a very, very beautiful man that treats me very well. I might add. But I think at the time, I think I was kind of like, oh, she's pretty, but like, didn't really, I don't know, it didn't filter in my brain. Like, it just didn't. Like, I enjoyed dancing with her, and it was nice. And yeah, I think a year after that, I came out. Okay, the second story I want to share with you guys, kind of funny. This should have clued me in a little earlier that I was bi in my earlier years, but I'd be clueless sometimes. Uh, so my first hint when I realized I was bi is like when I self-reflected, and I was like, do you remember that time, Lourdes, that you were in your old room and you had all your old Barbies naked around you, and your mom walked in and you blushed and were like, what the fuck? I mean, they're like, I don't know. This sounds so weird. That is like so embarrassing. No, I'm not embarrassed. I'm not embarrassed. It's true. It's how I've always had a thing for the female body. And as a kid, you're curious. So like, I don't like, they'd get undressed, you'd undress them, change their clothes. And I was like, boobs. I really love boobs. And um yeah, that should have clued me in right away that I was bi. But it really didn't, because growing up I always had crushes on boys. Always had a bunch of crushes on boys. Always got along with females. Always had a lot of female friends, but I never, until I got older, did I ever like feel like I could date a girl. Like I think I was always like, oh, they're beautiful. Like I appreciate their body. They're gorgeous. Like especially like beautiful curvaceous women. But it, I just always dated and was attracted to men, and the qualities certain men had. And then I got older, you know, um, story for another time, but eventually met my husband, so doesn't matter. At least we could share a little giggle and be like, oh my god, who's an anime crush we had? Is it funny that I'm thinking of a cartoon character? Like Shigo. We could like, we like share like, oh my god, Shigo is so hot. She was our cartoon crush growing up. Yeah, if you crushed on Shigo like growing up, maybe that was a hint, an eye opener to your sexuality. That or Kim Possible. But definitely was more Shigo. In any case, friends, that's it for today's video. My dog's over here scratching her ear, like, Mom, it's past her bedtime. What are we still doing up? So, in any case, friends, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And don't forget to like this video. Maybe I'll do more videos where I go around the room and think of other dolls that I could see what their sexual orientation is. But in any case, friends, bye.